So 1-0 the lead for Reynolds Mountain here, just underway in our next matchup of the day between Reynolds Mountain and Providence. As Reynolds Mountain now leads it 2-0. Alina McClendon, a 5'6" senior, serving here for the Eagles. Playing in that back row and bumped across there. Outside pushed over by Perry Hester. Now sent back across by Christina Williams as these two teams just kind of going back and forth here early. And that hit out of bounds. So 2-1 the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Back to serve for Providence is Courtney Hall. Serve played now up front by Kendall and sent across in that back line. So they bumped over, and that is in along that back line. So a 3-1 lead here for Reynolds Mountain. And Hannah Kendall, a 5'11" sophomore, to serve for the Eagles. So played back now. Setting that far side and bumped over, so he goes to set it up. And a kill for Gabby Sawyer, 5'11" senior. 4-1 lead for Reynolds Mountain. Continuing to serve is Kendall. That's tracked down and bumped over. Now set to the outside, and that hit out of bounds by Williams. Set back in the middle, that's just tipped over. And a little bit of miscommunication for Providence. And that gives Reynolds Mountain a 5-2 lead. As Kristen Williams, 5'6" junior, serves here for the Eagles. And that is an ace, making it now 6-2. Serve here, played now to the far side and sent over. Now sent back across by the Knights, and another kill for Reynolds Mountain. So the Eagles will continue to serve, up now 7-2. And that service error goes out of bounds, making it 7-3. So back to serve for Providence is Perry Hester, 5'6" senior. And that goes into the net. So now an 8-3 advantage for Reynolds Mountain. As in for the Eagles, and serving is Samantha Lale. Serve played now back up front into the middle and sent out of bounds. So it will be a 9-3 Reynolds Mountain lead. And again, the serve from Lale up front. tip that was blocked, and now we have a whistle and a double hit on Providence. It is a 10-3 lead, and we have a timeout to Providence. Take a break, come back with more of set one in a moment. You're watching the NACA.
Educating students.
Educating students.
To become servants of Christ. Servants of Christ.
Para llegar a ser servidores de Cristo.
To make a difference in today's world.
Faire une différence dans le monde d'aujourd'hui.
Einen Unterschied in der heutigen Welt zu machen.
Fazer uma diferença no mundo de hoje.
تغييب دنيا داي روزا.
Мы можем изменить сегодняшний мир.
Serve here played by Providence. They trail at 10-3. Set to the outside. Hit across there by Carter. Now sent over and finally in. A 10-4 lead for Reynolds Mountain. Back to serve for Providence is Stephanie Bailey, a 5'7" senior. Play to the outside. Just set across. Now back near side. Pushed over and down by Courtney Hall. And it's a 10-5 lead for Reynolds Mountain. Serve here from Bailey. Back up front. That's tipped across. Set near side, and that will fall in, and it's 11-5 Reynolds Mountain. And that serve goes into the net for Elizabeth Jordan. 11-6. As on for Providence comes Carson Burchett. And the serve here is into the net. So now 12-6. Elizabeth Carter with the serve. And was bumped over, and Reynolds Mountain will get a chance to play it here back in the middle. That's deflected off the hit from Hannah Kendall, and that will fall in for a kill, making it now 13-6. Played back up front, and it will fall in on Reynolds Mountain's side. So 13-7, the lead for the Eagles. Back to serve for the Knights is Elizabeth Brewer. Brewer, a 5'5" senior. Set back to the middle, and that put out of bounds by Hannah Kendall, making it now 14-7. So played into that back row. Hit there by Williams. Tracked down and sent over by Brewer. And somebody's in the net for Providence. I think it's Courtney Hall. That'll make it 14-8. Gabby Sawyer back in for the Eagles. Serfier played to the outside. Put across by Hall again. Bumped over by Carter. Eagles will set it up again to the outside. And that hit into the net by Williams. Make it 14-9. Into the back row and now sent across. Back near side, and that blocked up front by Kendall. Make it 15-9. Serfield tracked down out front. Tipped into the net by Burchett. 16-9 the lead for the Eagles. And again, serving for Reynolds Mountain is Hannah Kendall. Played off the ceiling. Now sent over by Williams. And that will fall in, making it 17-9. Played in that back row, and that is in along the far sideline off the hit of Courtney Hall. Now 17-10. Back in for Providence is number 15, which I do not have at the moment. Served by Burchett, played back up front. Tipped across there by Williams. Good set to the outside, and a kill for Kristen Williams. Now Williams to serve with Reynolds Mountain up 17-10. And that is in along the back line. Make that 18-10, now 18-11, as they didn't put up that previous score until very late. Serfier played up front. That's tipped across. Now put over, and that will eventually fall in, making it 18-12. This eventually ricochets out of bounds. Now 18-13 the lead for Reynolds Mountain. And a timeout to the Eagles. Take one as well. Back more set one in a moment. You're watching the NACA. So out of the timeout, this hit out of bounds off the hand of Gabby Sawyer. 18-14, the lead now for Reynolds Mountain as Providence tries to make a comeback here. It's played up close to the net, still alive and tipped across, so Providence will get an opportunity. Sent over by Bailey, now to the outside, and good hit there from Elizabeth Carter. Makes it now 19-14. In for Reynolds Mountain is Samantha Lale. And now Lale to serve, and that is out of bounds. So 19-15. Bailey with the serve. Tracked out to the outside, the set across. Now Hall had that deflected. Sent back over, and this tipped into the net, so 20-15. Into the back row, and then put over, and that hit along that back line by Elizabeth Carter. As Reynolds Mountain inches closer to a set one victory, 21-15. And timeout to Providence. Once again, back in just a moment. You're watching the NACA. And on the timeout now, Reynolds Mountain with an opportunity. Set in the middle, and that just put over. Now Hall will put it over. Wow. Good shot off the near side, but it was dug out by Providence. They dig out another hit and keep it alive. I mean, that's two cannon shots from Reynolds Mountain. Here's another one, and that one is out off the near side. Boy, that's some good stuff from both sides. Alina McClendon hammered a couple during that. Providence did a good job of keeping everything alive, even using the ceiling to kind of ricochet off of. And now 21-16 is this send over. Set in the middle, and that hit out of bounds, so 22-16. So here from Carter, tracked down into the back row. Put across there. Play to the near side to Hall. That's blocked up front. Make it 23-16. back to the near side. Hall puts that over, and Reynolds Mountain is in the net, making it 23-17. So Brewer to serve. To the outside, that tipped across and down, and now 24-17. And set point for Reynolds Mountain. So now back up front and bumped across. Tipped over, and that's played back deep again, and finally will fall in, and Reynolds Mountain will take set one, 25-17. We'll take a break, come back with set two in just a couple of minutes. You're watching the NACA tournament. All right, back for set number 2. Just a reminder that these are not best of 3 matches. This is pool play, so every single set counts. As we have an ace to get things started, 1-0 the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Basically the way this works is all of these games, these individual sets, they add them up at the end of the day, and they will put you into another pool basically tomorrow. And then from that pool tomorrow, they will narrow it down to 1, 2, 3, and 4 as far as your divisions. A kill here on the near side, a 2-0 lead for Reynolds Mountain off the hit from Gabby Sawyer. Reynolds Mountain out of Asheville, North Carolina. And Providence Academy out of Johnson City, Tennessee. As that hit into the net. Now a 2-1 lead for Reynolds Mountain. And back to serve for Providence is Elizabeth Brewer. It's played back in the middle of the floor. Now Providence with an opportunity. Set back in the near side. That's blocked up front.
Forgive me, John. I'm just now getting settled in. What division are we watching right now?
We are one. It's not even. It's just all pool play.
Just pool play.
It's just random. Yeah,
yes, sir.
They put teams together. So pretty much the way that works. For people kind of interested in the whole process, you don't come here and get automatically put in a division. You play into your division. I'll explain that here in a second as this falls on the outside. So 3-2 the lead for Reynolds Mountain. Basically what they do is they throw everybody into pool play here in day 1. Then at the end of today, they add up your wins and losses, and they put you in smaller pools tomorrow. And then you play pool play tomorrow within that group. And then from there, they decide Division 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it kind of gets cut in half and then cut in half, and you end up where you're supposed to be. So really, I don't think we get to bracket play until Friday. I think that's when we actually get to the brackets. There's another ace and a 5-2 lead. I was thinking about Johnson City. Is that up northeastern
Johnson City,
Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It sure is. It's the home of ETSU, East Tennessee State University.
Okay.
Part of the Tri-Cities, as it were. I believe it's Kingsport, Johnson City, and Bristol. So Bristol, Tennessee shares Bristol, of course, with Virginia. And they have the state line actually goes down and splits right in the street, So that's a...
I know
cool
some
town.
things about Tennessee. I don't know a lot, but I was pretty sure I knew where Johnson City was.
Yeah, and that's a really cool part of the state, really Appalachian country up there. A lot of good bluegrass, a lot of good people.
I used to come down through Tennessee all the time when I was dating my wife before we were married. She was teaching in Memphis, at a suburb in Memphis. So that part of the state, very familiar with. And there's a nice kill from the back row.
Yeah, we're going to run that one back here with our instant replay, courtesy of our sponsors.
That's Alina McClendon, by the way.
Yeah, that's a big-time kill from Alina.
And that's not from close to that line either. She was pretty good distance back. So an 8-3 lead here for Reynolds Mountain.
Between games, I'm going to hopefully have your monitor hooked up so you'll be able to watch those a little easier.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Get everything fixed up as we getting settled in today for a big tournament week here.
Well, it's a 9-3 lead for Reynolds Mountain. They've been on a little bit of a roll here to start the second set. That probably should have been a carry. But at any rate, it's a 10-3 lead now for Reynolds Mountain. And back to serve is Kristen Williams. And we have a timeout to Providence. Well, we have 3 more matches today. basically the top of every hour is when we start the next match. So we have matches at 3, 4, and 5, and they're all particularly in this grouping. Matter of fact, we'll have at 3 o'clock, actually all the games the rest of today are in this group. 3 o'clock is Pathway and Providence. 4 o'clock is Reynolds Mountain and Heritage. 5 o'clock is Pathway and Reynolds Mountain. And then at 8:45 tonight, it's Providence and Heritage. You know, I do like the new scoreboards here.
Oh, yeah.
They've replaced those. Those are really nice.
Certainly appears to be courtesy of Score International.
They didn't have
big-time sponsors here.
Did they have the foul thing on the scoreboard before? I don't remember that. I thought it was just.
No, I don't believe so. I believe that's an upgrade.
I thought it was. Yeah, Score International's been a sponsor here for years. Set back to the near side, and that will be a kill for Elizabeth Carter. 11-4 the lead now for Reynolds Mountain.
All right, now that we have your replay monitor set up, I'm going to be able to get you to comment on some of these big-time kills.
Boy, look at that. Yeah. That was nice last year of basketball, too. Those were really nice to have.
Yeah, basketball. Of course, not only on the big-time kills, some of the questionable calls that are hard to see, not necessarily questionable towards our officiating, but just
right, ones that we didn't get a good look at. So the serve here now played back. That was actually a really nice hit off a back set. And again, I don't have 15 in my program or in the roster, so. Serve here for Perry Hestier. That's into the net. We'll make it a 13-5 lead for Reynolds Mountain. And Elizabeth Jordan back to serve. That's tracked down. And now not put over and make it 14-5.
They kind of just miscommunication appears to be.
So this set played to the far side. That's bumped across now. That's a really good bump set. That's an excellent bump set.
Oh.
And nice hit as well. Make it now a 16-5 lead. You get a look at this.
But very high bump set, and she takes full advantage of it.
I'm telling you, that's really, really difficult to do. A hit by Hannah Kendall. A lot of people go with the two-hand type set, but the bump set can be effective if you can direct things. Listen, I can't do that. I can do a lot of stuff in the volleyball court. I cannot. Return serves is not my thing. I can't bump. I'm not good at bumping. I can set, I can hit, and I can serve, but I can't bump anything. As that's blocked up front. So Reynolds Mountain will continue to serve. And that serve goes into the net. That'll make it 16-7. Carson Burchett back in for Providence. Set to the outside, and another kill for Alina McClendon. To give her room, she can cause you a little bit of trouble. Not real tall at 5'6", but she times her jump so well and where she hits the ball that she doesn't necessarily need to be 6 feet tall like some of the other girls in this tournament. She just is consistently a good hitter. Let's put across, partially blocked up front by Sawyer, but ends up falling in. (17-8) the lead for Reynolds Mountain. This is Elizabeth Brewer to serve. Pump set back on the near side. Put over there by Williams. Now sent over. Set in the middle. At that time by Sawyer. Still alive here, but into the net is Courtney Hall for Providence. That'll make it 18-8. Or what should be 18-8, I think. There's another ace. I think it actually should be 19-8. There we go. That serve is another ace, and now 20-8. As Providence having all kinds of trouble returning the serve of Hannah Kendall. You can see right there. It's a, by the way, if you're in the front row and you're trying to do that, it's very difficult for some of those short serves that come over. Because you have to have quick reflexes. You're not really anticipating that. Up front, this tipped over. Still alive, though. So up front, net put it down by Gabby Sawyer. Nice play on her part. You'll see this here was a good dig off the back row, but Sawyer found her way there.
It's just really net domination right there.
Mm-hmm. Put it in a good spot, too, in that back corner. And this sent across. That's a good dig by McClendon in the back row. And kill for Courtney Hall. 21-9. Now Hall with the serve as that rolls over it. And then sent across. This put into the net. 22-9. See here, pretty good set, but couldn't quite get turned around on the hit. And Kristen Williams with an ace. Make it 23-9. It's always difficult. You see her get caught kind of in between. That's always a difficult spot to be because you don't know whether or not to bump it or try to set it like that. That's out of bounds, 23-10. And Carson Burchett set to serve. Setting that back row, and that is hit out of bounds. So Kristen Williams didn't really come across the top of it. Burchett with the serve. Just set over. Goes play it back in the near side. Good dig by Burchett. There's some nice back row play here from both sides. That is in, apparently, on the sideline.
Yeah, and they're really placing that. They're really placing that ball in that back corner.
It's hard to tell. Like if you're watching at home, it's hard for us to tell too because the volleyball court is gray, kind of a lighter gray on a light court.
Yeah, the lines.
And it's those are, it can be difficult to see. That definitely is in, and that'll do it. 25-11 is the final as Reynolds Mountain takes a couple of sets from Providence. Up next is our 3 o'clock matchup. Speaking of which, let me See if I can find that relatively quickly. That is Pathway and Providence. Pathway and Providence comes up at 3 o'clock here in just a little bit. So we'll take a break. We'll come back with that in a few minutes. You're watching the NACA National Tournament.